Let's try that one more time. How is everyone doing tonight? A little bit better, I guess. That's what I'm looking for right there. My name is Zach Flower, and I'm going to be your MC for this evening. That's Monsters of Ceremonies. Jodey said no one else would get it except for her and a couple other people, so...
I got it!
Yes, you made the right choice. Okay, now I need you to know that I'm using a very old microphone and speaker system, so I apologize for those at the back who don't hear me very well, but if the silence at the front is telling it all, you're not missing much. First off, a couple of housekeeping items. Please, if you have any cell phones, keep them turned on and entertain yourselves that way. And if you get texted any good jokes, please come up here. So, how do the bride and groom know me? I guess that's where I should start off. Well, actually they don't. I was looking for my dog and kind of wandered into the backyard, and before I knew it, I was putting up these lights and helping bartend, and well, I'm doing this now, so I'm flattered, I'm honored, but it's a little awkward. What's your name again? Thank you. Jodey and Sam. Okay, I have that written down. It's okay, I think I'm really funny, so I'm going to continue telling jokes whether or not you actually laugh. But in all seriousness, I am the husband of the bride's sister, Taylor. And I'm honored to be the master of ceremony for Jodey and Sam's reception this evening. Okay. Let's all raise a drink, whatever that is, to the lovely, ever so nerdy, heart-sleeving, Star Wars loving, Westminster dog show watching, well, just Sam, seriously, dude, you're like 40 years older than most of them. You're 40 years younger than most of them. Watch that. Disney crazing, Oscar enthusing, pun-believably hilarious couple. Yay! To Jedi and Sidious. Sorry, Jodey and Sam. Thank you. As you all know, Jodey is a huge Star Wars fan. Even if you don't ask, she'll let you know. You know, it can be very polarizing being a Star Wars nerd. Everyone has their favorite character, everyone has their favorite movie, and they'll stick to that no matter what. Personally, my favorite villain is Kylo Ren. Hands down. Oh. And now I would like to introduce our first speaker. She's kind, hilarious, beautiful, loved Disney first before... Sorry, babe, I can't read your writing.
I did not read it.
Now, I do need you to know that before this, Taylor and I pre-cried. Because if you don't know Taylor very well, she has a tendency to cry a lot. And I figured just like pre-drinking to start for the night, a pre-cry is probably the best way to start a speech. So let's see if it works. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for my lovely wife and sister of the bride, Taylor Flower. Thank you.
Yay!
I'll take her.
I'll take the baby.
You got her? Nobody got the box?
Hello everyone. We are gathered here today on this joyous occasion to celebrate the special love that Jodey and Sam share. It is a love based on giving and receiving, as well as having and sharing. And the love that they give and have is shared and received. And through this, having and giving and sharing and receiving, we too have to share and love and have and receive. Hello everyone, thank you for coming to join us in celebrating Jodey and Sam's marriage. I'm Jodey's sister and Sam's favorite sister-in-law, and I hope you know Friends and Disney because that's what Jodey and I are all about. And if you don't, then my opening speech has already confused you. I'm very nervous to be up here. For one, because I hate speaking in front of people. 2, because I know I will not be punny enough for you two. And 3, because Jodey did the most incredible speech for my wedding, so I have a lot to live up to. I find myself doing this a lot in my life, living up to Jodey. Although I'm the older one, I look up to Jodey all the time for so many things. One of those things is her organization. A perfect example of this being me writing this speech last night. 2 kids not quite asleep and 1 in her swing, trying to get this done in time. Let's just say I'm the procrastinator of the family. I could go on and on about other things, but to name a few, she's generous, funny, has an amazing memory. way better at doing makeup than me, and she can do the perfect cast. I will point out that I am better at hair. I did her hair today, and at her wedding in April, having getting a lot of practice when we were younger, and we played Cardana the Cutting Girl. However, neither of us are great speakers or world leaders. We can't run very fast, but damn it, we can eat. Because she is my sister, we literally grew up together, which means we have a lifetime of fun and memories together, which is another thing that makes this speech hard, picking out the best ones. Well, she made me promise not to embarrass her, so that narrows things down. Going on trips as a family was always memorable. Whether it was one of us getting hurt by falling off a scooter, Jody, or falling down the stairs, me, listening to Jamie tell us all about some Pokemon episode while visiting historic places in Europe, laughing together at our mom instead of enjoying the view along the California coastline, just everything Disney, and of course our endless inside jokes. Just 1 second, I'm really thirsty. I love getting together with Jody and reliving all our amazing memories, and I can't wait to continue making these memories with you and with Sam. In 2011, or something like that, I rely on Jody to remind me of dates of things. Jody moved to Florida for a year, and I was so happy for her, but so sad that she would be gone. However, I knew when Jody came back, nothing would change. So much so that when I bought my townhouse, I texted her telling, not asking, her to move in with me. Some people thought we would fight and hate living together, but I loved it. I can always rely on Jody being by my side on our many trips to the mall, our road trips, even when being serenaded by random boys on a cruise ship. She was there with me. I feel so lucky to have Jody as a sister, and now I feel even more lucky to have her as my kid's auntie. The love she shows my kids is so heartwarming, and I love seeing Jody in that role. And although Sam has no blood relation to my kids, he is more of an uncle to them than I could have ever asked for. Thank you both for everything you do for them. I can't even begin to show you how much I appreciate you guys. I wish for my kids that when they grow up, they will be as close as we are. Now, I would like to point out that we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for me and my husband, Zach. We take full responsibility in setting these two up. I've always been protective of Jody when it came to boys and took matters into my own hands to keep the ones I didn't like away. Whenever Zach would talk to me about Sam, we would always say things like, "That sounds like something Jody would say or do." And then we had the brilliant idea of setting them up on a blind date. We gave them no option of saying no to this, as I was their ride. Trust your heart, let fate decide. The rest is history. You're welcome, Sam. She's a friggin' catch. Also, you're welcome, Jody, because Sam is a catch. Sam, I've never met such an unselfish, helpful, happy, awesome person as you. I'm beyond happy to call you my brother. I have to admit that I speak so highly of you to others that I have friends that say, "Gotta find me a Sam." A true hero isn't measured by the size of his strength, but by the strength of his heart. And with that being said, Sam, you're a true hero. Jody, this speech is a piece of junk. I'm telling you how much I love you. You're my best friend. You're the J-Man to my Channy, the Timon to my Pumbaa, and the Harry to my Ron. Thank you for being the best sister I could have ever asked for. Sam, thank you for loving my sister the way she deserves. Take her to the moon for me. Love you both so much.
Thanks, Tay. Well, babe, it was touch and go there for a minute, but you made it through. Before we get to our next speaker, I just got some breaking news. Congratulations to Gaston, the winner of the Nobel Prize. So, a little bit of a quick side story. So before I introduce this next speaker, I do have to do this. Come on up, get best. Okay. So a little context, probably. I've actually known Bess longer than all of you in this room. Her and I went to grade 4 and 5 together, and we did a Pirates of Penzance play. Both of us were policemen in the play. And it took Sam and I about 7 years to realize that connection. But I'm really happy we did. So please, everyone, welcome fantastic, the amazing Bess.
Well, imagine being the sucker who has to follow Taylor. That's me. So, I wonder, some people must want to know what first impression they give off, especially to their future or current wife. So, after Sam and JodeyS first date that Taylor alluded to, Sam gets home, and of course, we're so excited. Sam, tell us all about this girl you went on a date with. Tell us about her. Well, he says she has a really beautiful face, but she has a lot of lipstick. Lucky for us, some things changed. She still has a beautiful face. So, growing up, Sam and I were really lucky to have really great love role models. People who were together through thick and thin and taught us how to love and love forever. And Sam has been really lucky to find Jodey to emulate that love that he saw growing up and bring forward in his life and keep going and really be a role model going forward too for people who come after him of how to love and love forever. Thank you so much for joining our family, Jodey. I know how happy Sam is to have joined your family and how much he enjoys being part of your big, wonderful family and hanging out with you and just being accepted into your group. And that really meant a lot to him at the time he was in his life, and that was really special, and we really appreciate that from you and your family. I know. It's always hard. But to the lovely couple, thank you so much for getting married. Thank you for having this lovely ceremony and party. And cheers to the couple.
Yay! Yes. You can't see with masks on anyway.
Bess, that was fantastic, and I gotta say I'm a little jealous. You had no paper. Like, was that off the cuff? Rehearsed till midnight last night? Like,
No, 3 p.m.
nice. Now, before I introduce the next speaker, please know I only introduce them. I don't guarantee them. Our next speaker got to start working at a restaurant of the late Auguste Gusteau in Paris. His first attempt at making soup was almost a disaster until an unlikely friend, a rat named Remy, helped him turn it into a hit. The two realized they could help one another. Remy could manipulate the movements of the chef in order to help him be successful. But the former sous chef, now owner, Skinner, will stand at nothing to bring them down. That's actually the plot to Pixar's film Ratatouille. I apologize. The lead character and our next speaker, however, share a very similar experience and also appearance. I just assumed it was a documentary on his life. Brother of the bride, chef extraordinaire, and arguably, I'm sorry, Jodey, the biggest Star Wars fan I know.
Yes.
Please welcome Jamie Schmidt.
I don't think he could.
Oh jeez. Hi everyone. Forgot I was speaking, so my notebook I have the list of booze behind in the garage. And that's it. Hey everyone. So similar to today, I was completely unprepared for Taylor's wedding in terms of speech, and thank you, Zach, for not making it easier. And thanks to Bess for not making it easy to follow. So I'm Jodey's little brother, I guess, and I've literally never had a day in my life where I haven't had Jodey in my life, and that's crazy to think about. Like, she's always been in my life, and I love that. Like, she's the annoying older sister, but for the past few months I've been living with her, and I didn't think you could love someone more, but just every day, just talking with her, she's my older sister. What else can you say about that? Damn, I should have wrote something down. And Sam, he's grown to be one of my best friends, honestly. I think I have more stories about Sam than I can't think of one right now, but the first thing that comes to my mind when I think of Sam, though, is the first time I met him, all we did was bitch about Adam Sandler and how much we hate his newest movie. I don't remember the movie, but didn't even know he was dating Jodey at the time. And somehow she was still the third wheel. I could tell so many stories about Sam, just him scaring me in the middle of the night. The only time I've ever been late for work ever is we got caught up in a conversation about film. Yep. But the one thing I want to highlight about Sam is that he makes Jodey happy. And that's the most important thing to me. But he also makes me very happy. So, 2 for 1, I guess.
You guys get to share him.
When I think of Jodey too, obviously I think of how annoying she can be, but she is the most passionate person I have ever met in my life. When she loves something, you never get 90% with her. She is always 100%. And living with her these past few months, it's something that's just incredible to see. You just never see her slow down or half-ass anything. If she loves something, she loves it 100%. And I'm very lucky to have a sister like that. Oh damn, where'd I go from here? I remember when Sam proposed, I remember thinking about it and being like, oh, is this gonna be the day? And it was, and still just being so excited. But nothing changed. He's been a part of the family for quite a while. Like, he's been my friend for quite a while. He's always down to get milkshakes. He's always down to try weird food.
Oops.
For someone with such a loud voice, he is the best listener I've ever met in my life. And yeah, I never had a brother growing up, and now I have 2, and can't decide which one I love more. I'm not really good at talking, but it's easy to talk about them because I love them more than anything in this world, and I thank them every day for letting me have 1,200 pots in their house and buying quail's eggs, and I can't thank them enough. So here's a drink, and if you don't have a drink, meet me at the bar. Love you both so much, and thank you so much, Sam, for making her that happy. And thank you, Jodey, for 21 years of love. And the bar will be closed from 8:30 to 9. I have to get at the dance floor for a few moments. To the happy couple.
Yay!
Jamie, for someone who says he's not good at speaking, you blow me away every time. That was amazing. You came at it a little bit softer than you did our wedding, though. If anybody remembers. I probably shouldn't go there with children around, but
It was a lot softer.
yeah. Talk to me later. I'll tell you the story. Our next speaker's name is Laris. She is a she-elf who prays to the god of the sea, a giant octopus. There was no fish on the menu, correct? Because if there was, any poor soul that eats that fish will nay see another day. My apologies. I forget her human name is Nicole. And yes, we played D&D together. I just told the world.
That's fine.
I love it. Please put your hands together for one of JodeyS besties, Nicole.
You got a mommy?
Hello, everyone. So fun fact about this, Jodey actually asked me like Sunday, and to give a speech, and I was like, sure. But her exact words were, "Hey, you're good at talking in front of a lot of people, right?" I was like, "Well, I'm a teacher, so yeah, why?" And originally I actually thought she was going to ask me to MC, which I was going to say no and say what happened to Zach. But no, it was just to give a speech, so that's fine. I did write it down. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Nicole. Jodey and I have been friends since we were in junior high, which is a very long time now. We've had our ups and downs, of course, as friends do, but we always found our way back to being friends again. Sam, however, I met much more recently. And the first time I met Sam was not actually face-to-face. So Jodey and I were on our way, probably to Cross Iron would be my guess. And Sam called Jodey to ask her about something. Well, since Jodey's phone is connected on Bluetooth, Sam was on speakerphone, so I, of course, heard everything. When they said goodbye, Jodey told Sam that she loved him, and me, being ever dramatic, also said I loved him, which I think flustered poor Sam quite a little bit, seeing as we'd never met. But the fact that he was so good-natured about it when we did finally meet face-to-face basically told me that this guy was a keeper. So Jodey and Sam, it's been such a pleasure to see you two make such a wonderful life for each other and with each other. I love hearing from Jodey about the silly things you do or the little fights you have about just random things, like Sam not closing the cupboard doors. It's just been so wonderful to see how happy you both are. You guys make each other better, and I'm so, so proud of you for everything that you've accomplished. I know I come visit a lot, but at least I bring Starbucks.
Yes.
I'm thrilled I get to continue to see your love for each other grow, and I'm so, so excited to see what the future holds for you two. Love you guys. To Sam and Jodey.
That's way too big of a mess. Love you, Sam. Oh, good. Amazing.
Wow.
I think that's the best speech.
Wow.
I don't know who's gonna follow that one up. I feel like I should say a couple things because I've made a lot of jokes tonight, but I actually want to get real here. When I met Taylor 5 years ago, you always, is it 7 years ago? A long time ago. I kind of forget that when you get together with someone, you also are getting together with their family, and I'm always apprehensive because you never know. Firstly, if you're going to get along with them, and secondly, if they're people that you're able to spend the rest of your life with. It was the first time I ever met Jodey. It was like instantly, I knew that I was going to be. I knew that through Taylor and through Jodey's actions and the way that she is as a person. I knew that it was going to be something really special. I especially knew that with Taylor, but I got so lucky. Also, I mean, I didn't realize I was also buying a sister, which is incredible. So, buying, that was weird. Two for one deal. I almost got through without that. But Jodey, seriously, you're an incredible person. You're always there for us whenever the kids need a hand, and you're always you light up a room, and I am so so thankful that you're in my life now. So thank you. Sam, I'm going to talk about you now. Sam and I started working together at the Winter Club a long time ago. How long ago now? Because I'm not getting numbers right here. 10? Okay, 8 years ago. And he and I worked together for a long time, but it wasn't until later in our career as lifeguards that we started connecting a lot more, and we started hanging out a little bit more. And we actually grew together. We found out that we both liked running. I know, weird, right? And so him and I would go on all these long runs. And Sam, even though to your chagrin, you maybe don't want to come with me on runs all the time, you know what happened because of those runs? Mid-run, we're about 8K in, just passing Eau Claire Market. I get a phone call from Taylor. Hey babe, what's up? I'm more like, hold on one second. I gotta pull over. Pull over, walk over, whatever. She says, who are you running with? I said, I'm running with a guy named Sam. She's like, Sam, is that the guy that we're always making those connections with? Like, is he the guy that, you know, like he reminds me so much of Jodey? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, well, why don't you ask him to go on a date with Jodey? And so mid-run, I'm like, Sam, hey man, you want to go on a blind date? And Sam, in Sam fashion, is totally just like, yeah, sure, let's do it. Boom, boom, boom. Let's just get this 10K over with first and stop talking to me. You had that Sam face, right? Like, let's just get going. And so sure enough, the power of running actually brought you guys together. But Sam, I do have to say is, I've never felt so comfortable around someone. I've never felt like I could be myself so much around someone. And honestly, man, I never thought that I could have such a good friend and someone who has my back 24/7. So I love you guys very much. Thank you. And I gotta stop now or else the waterworks. So I wasn't supposed to give a speech, but I just did.
How wild is this get?
Oh, it's going to get wild. We're going to get right up. Let me wait.
What do you have to say?
I'm getting married!
Hey! Wow, it happens that fast?
Oh yeah, yeah. So, yeah. Here.
I choose this one! I choose this
One, two, three! Whoa! 1, 2, 3! 1, 2, 3! 1, 2, 3! 1, 2, 3!
Right there.
Mama!